Hello, this is Suzanne Long, Professor of Accounting at Jackson College. Today we're going to be working on depreciation methods. Yeah, long-term assets, fixed assets, property, plant, and equipment, and depreciation. We're going to start with defining some of the formulas, so to speak. And remember, I like to use this area over here, and I encourage you to do the same for notes. What is depreciation? That's what we're going to be working on today. So what the heck is it? I would describe depreciation as an estimate of the use of an asset. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. An estimate of the use of, it's actually a long-term, let's make that in there, get that in there. Long-term asset. Like a copy machine. So we buy a copy machine for our business. How much did it cost? How long are we going to use it? And how do we assign some piece of that cost to every month that we're using the copy machine? So we're going to estimate. So this whole thing that we're going to do with depreciation is all about estimates. So we're going to start with what I'm going to call the formulas, and then we're going to work through a practice problem, and we're going to do a couple different methods. We're going to do straight line, double declining, and units of production. So in a Principles of Accounting class, those are the likely methods that you'll see. There are more methods, and like when we get to intermediate accounting, we'll pick up a few more. When you get to advanced and CPA exam review, there's more. All right, let's take a look at the formulas, so to speak. Book value. You're going to hear that phrase, that term, and it means cost minus accumulated. Book value. What's the book value of the asset, or the net book value of the asset? Okay, how much do we pay for it, and how much accumulated depreciation do we have so far? You can go to the asset account and pick off the balance, say in an equipment account. You can go to the accumulated depreciation contra asset account and pick off the ending balance in that account. Straight line, our first and the most popular depreciation method. And if you check, you can do some Google checking and see like who uses what methods. Well, almost everybody uses straight line because it's intuitive. It's relatively easy to calculate. You don't have to, have a PhD in accounting to do straight line depreciation. This is the formula: cost minus residual divided by the life. I'm adding time because sometimes you don't want a whole year, and if you just stop here at divide by 5 for 5 years, you're going to have annual depreciation. And sometimes you need 6 divided by 12 for 6 months, or 3 divided by 12 for 3 months, or 1 month, or whatever. So I'm adding this times asterisk time to provide a little flexibility for how many months do you need. So in this case, $5,000 was the cost of the asset, $1,000 is the residual or the scrap value or the resale value after 5 years. 5 is the life, and this was 6 months of depreciation. And I like to show that, and I recommend you do 6 over 12 because it's a visual pop. You'll see, oh, 6 out of 12, yeah, 12 months in a year, 6 months, oh yeah, got it. And then this is that calculation. So you see the formula up here, and you see the answer or the result down here. To get this to work in Excel land, you just have to put an apostrophe there. Apostrophe says to Excel, hey, don't do any calculations, just let me type. And then this is without the apostrophe. So that's straight line, that's the straight line formula. That's what we're going to start with. Let's do it. Okay, here's our problem. Equipment, January 1st, purchase price, life, 4 years, residual, 10. And here's our little handy dandy table. Let's do, and I've got this space over here, let's do the calculation. So straight line was cost minus residual value divided by life times the time, if we had some time. So I'm going to do apostrophe equals, not sure why it's in green, Okay, cost was, let's see, where was it? 54 and 10. Okay, so 50,000 for cost and 10,000 for residual and 4 years for life. And I'm doing a table showing each year, so I don't need to do anything more. I don't need to worry about 6 months or any of that stuff. Okay, so I'm copying that. I'm going to get rid of my little apostrophe, and it's $10,000 per year. I don't want that in green, but it might be nice to have it in a color. How about the bright blue? Let's do that. So 10,000 is annual depreciation. Okay, so up here I've got the formula. We just did the formula, we just applied it to this example, and we have now calculated annual depreciation. Now let's talk about the table. So this is going to be year 1. You can type 1, 2, 3, 4. You could type the current year and then add the next, however you want to do it. Cost. Excuse me, cost, $50,000. And cost is cost is cost, it does not change. So you can copy that down however you like. Depreciation expense, we just calculated it. You could also have that calculation over here. So I'm copying, actually that did not do what I wanted it to do at all. I thought I could copy that and paste it there. It's doing some kind of cell reference thing. Well, at any rate, what I meant was you could have this formula over here. So some of you might just want to put the formula right in the table where it's going to go and not have this stuff over here to the right. So what you're seeing in blue is my notes to you, me sharing ideas. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe you just want to put the formula in there and be done. Now I'm going to copy, paste, paste, paste. Don't do fill handle. Copy, paste, paste. Okay. Notice that it's the same every year. So straight line, oh, I should think about how I could do a little graph. I would like to do a little graph for us. Straight line is straight. It's always the same amount. So once you figure out your annual depreciation, that's it. Unless you're dealing with months, partial year, like in this case we're doing whole year, so it's the same amount per year. Okay, accumulated. At the end of the first year, we have $10,000 so far in depreciation. $10,000 for the first year, accumulated at the end of the first year is $10,000. Now the second year, now these are easy numbers, right? 10, 10, 10. But let's say they weren't easy round numbers. We'd have equals accumulated from the year before plus how much we're adding this year. Then you've got a formula that you could use to copy down no matter how goofy these numbers are, or odd, or unusual. So we see, yep, and visually it pops right out like, yeah, it's going up 10,000 each year. Okay, book value. Do you remember what book value was? If you don't, just take a peek. It's right there, cost minus accumulated. Okay, so equals cost minus accumulated. And fill handle. And stop. So, what I want you to see is when we're done depreciating this asset with a 4-year life, when we're done with all the depreciation, it's going to show up on the balance sheet. What was this? Was this an equipment? Yeah, equipment. It's going to be capital E equipment, 50,000, balance sheet. Accumulated depreciation, 40,000, and we're going to see this net book value of 10,000 on the balance sheet, and it's just going to sit there. Maybe we keep this asset for another 10 years. We just keep maintaining it. It's just going to sit on the balance sheet at net $10,000. This 10,000 is very important because that's the residual value. We should end up with 10,000. In a way, this is a self-checking kind of calculation. It's got to be 10,000 here. This will become an issue later when we do, or next when we do double declining balance. Okay, visually I'm not so crazy about this being like that. I think I like that lined up a little bit better right there. And hold on just 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, I think I would like to do just a really fast graph with you. I want the graph to show the years and the depreciation. I don't really want cost, but this is the quickest way to do it. Just click and drag, highlight, insert, graphs, look for this one with the lines, and just pick out the first one. Yeah, the first one's fine. And I'm going to resize it just a bit. So green is depreciation. Again, why is it going up to 100,000? At any rate, green, depreciation. Flat, straight line. So focus on depreciation, straight line, flat, no change. 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. Okay, let's take a look at part B. And I'm not going to play with this. I certainly want to change it, but I'm not going to. That's the basics, just the green line. Okay, the asset was sold for $12,000 cash, January 1st of year 5. Huh. Okay, so this is a little bonus thrown in here. We're doing all this method work, but we're going to do a quick little journal entry here. So end of year 5, sold the asset for cash. Okay, let cash help you. Cash, for cash. We got cash, 12,000. What did we sell? We sold equipment. How much was equipment recorded at? It was recorded at 50. So let me get that in, slide that over credit position. That might be the obvious part. Sold equipment for cash. Of course, we're way out of balance. But when you get rid of equipment, you also have to get rid of the accumulated depreciation on equipment. I'm going to abbreviate a little bit here. You can't get rid of the equipment account and still have the accumulated depreciation on that equipment still on your books and reported on your balance sheet if you don't have that equipment anymore. So when you get rid of an asset, you got to get rid of the asset and the accumulated depreciation on the asset. So this is year 5, so this is after all of this has happened. So accumulated is now at 40,000. If they said this was the beginning of year 3, then we'd want to use the end of year 2, that kind of thing. So that's why I'm using 40. Okay, well I'm getting closer, but still out of balance, right? 52,000 over here and 50,000 over here. And if you're not happy doing that in your head, you can always calculate it out. What's it going to take to balance out? I need 2,000 right here. And this is called gain on sale of equipment. And notice that it's on the right side is a credit. So it's called gain. And a gain has a feel, it's like a revenue. Revenue, right side, gain. If we did all this and it turned out we needed a left side debit to balance this thing out, if the 2,000 was over here in the debit position, then this would be called loss, and it would be over to the left, and it would be a debit to loss. Loss is like expense. So little bonus in here, little journal entry action. No extra charge. Okay, part C, double declining balance method. Let's look at it. Going up to the top, here's my book value definition. We're going to be right here. It's most commonly double declining balance. We're going to see a times 2 in there for the doubling effect. But sometimes it's just called declining balance depreciation. And it could be 150%, it could be anything. So let's say it's 150% declining balance depreciation, then this would be 1.5. So this can be flexible. It doesn't have to be double. Okay, we're going to do double. Let's look at the formula. Beginning book value, so beginning of the year, 100% divided by life. So this would be like, well, here you see 1 divided by 5, this is a 5-year life, times 2, and then again I'm adding the time there. So 6 out of 12 for 6 months. And here's how that calculation worked out. Different example, different calculation. Alright, let's give it a shot. So we're coming down here. It's the same asset. So, like, I'm going to copy this and this. This is going to be the same. And that's it. And let's do depreciation expense. So it was beginning book value. Oh, and I got this, I'm using the AME textbook, and they do it a little differently than I do. 100% divided by life. Okay. So that would be annual right there. Divide by L, how many years life? So if I stop right there, this is going to be annual, and that's what I want. I want annual. So let's do it. Beginning book value, 50,000. At the beginning, there hasn't been any depreciation yet, and we can reflect that right here. Beginning book value cost minus accumulated. Well, there hasn't been any yet. Beginning book value cost minus accumulated. 100%, which translates to the number 1, divided by life, 4 years, times 2. Beginning book value cost minus accumulated. So when we start cost, we haven't accumulated yet. 100% divided by life, 1 divided by 4. This is called the rate, the double declining balance rate. And this problem would be 25%, or 1 divided by 4, times 2 for the doubling effect. And I'm going to take out that, oops, I forgot to put in the equal sign. Oh, that didn't go the way I wanted it to go. How about an equal sign? I meant for this one to have an equal sign too. So it's doing that. How about currency? And it'll be over to the left. So 25,000. So again, you might just want to put this all in here. I do recommend using zeros when you don't have anything, because it triggers you as a, yeah, I thought about that. I thought about accumulated, and there isn't any at the beginning of the first year. Let's keep going and do year 2, because year 2 is going to be different. So this was year 1. Now we're going to have year 2. Oh, we should probably put this in. And I suppose if we're doing that, we might as well do this. Cost minus accumulated. Okay, so this was year 1. Let's look at year 2. I'm going to copy that down. One thing is going to change here. Accumulated depreciation changes, because now at the beginning of year 2 we could say, oh yeah, we've got depreciation from year 1, it's 25,000. So let's run that calculation. Yeah, and that's going to be half, which depending on my mathematical thinkers will be like, yeah, because this is half. And again, if you want to have it right here, you can. I recommend it, really. I mean, if I were you, I'd be putting my formulas right here, and I wouldn't have this stuff. But right now, as you're listening and watching, this might be helpful to be able to see it. Just be able to see it all. Okay, so here we go. Balance before plus current year, and click and drag. This was cost minus accumulated. We could just drag that down. I could have done that before. Now, I'm a little concerned because we're already at 12,500 and we cannot depreciate past 10,000. Do not depreciate past 10,000 residual. So that's really the key to double declining balance. Yeah, the formula is a little different, but yeah, you can work through a formula. But this is really the key. We can't go past 10,000. So let's see what year 3 would be. Looks like I might want a little more room here. So year 3, now I'm at 37,500 for accumulated depreciation. It just keeps going up. All right, so this is going to go down. Let's see what this works out to. That did not work. One more time. $6,250. Well, I can tell you right now that's going to be too much. Too much. Because we can only depreciate to 10,000 right here. So let me just show you what happens. If I put 62.5 here, it's going to take me to 62.5 here, and that's too far. So I can't use that. So right there, I'm going to highlight that because this is going to be a plug. This must be 10. So this all, maybe I'll put this all in red. This all has to do with this concept of we can't depreciate past 10,000 here. Now these are really easy numbers. This has to be 10,000. So what's this going to be? So calculation-wise, we're at 12,500 right here, and it can only be 10,000 residual value. So it's got to be 25,000. And then this year is going to be 0. So a couple things about double declining balance method. One is the formula. You got a little bit different formula going on, and you're using beginning book value. I recommend the 0 for the first year. Track your accumulated. So you've got new calculations in here, and then there's this whole deal. You can't go past 10,000 residual value. Now, let's see what this one looks like as a super, super fast chart. Oh, now this one stopped us at 60,000. Oh, jeez. So there's the green, depreciation, declining balance. Going down. Straight line, green, straight. So the, I don't know, the charts are kind of nice. I usually draw these on the whiteboard, just a quick little visualization of depreciation. All right, now we're moving on to units of production. This is probably my favorite of these methods because it's the most realistic. It ties our estimate of depreciation and the estimate of the use of the asset to what's actually going on. So that seems like a good idea, right? Let's look at the formula. It starts out cost minus residual, which is the same way straight line started out. So it's got the same start. Divide by total units of production. So let's say this is a piece of manufacturing machinery. How many units can this machine produce total? That's what this is. Let's say it's a truck you're going to drive for work. How many miles do you expect to get out of this truck? Total units of production. So you're going to have this number divided by this number, a fraction, a rate, and then you're going to multiply that times the current units of production. Like, okay, so if it's manufacturing machinery, how many, we think we could produce 5 million units, and then this particular year we produced 173,000 units. Okay, so that's the difference between current and total. Or this month we drove the car or the work truck 2,000 miles, and our life mileage is 400,000. I don't know trucks. I probably shouldn't have said that. Okay, units of production. Cost, residual, total, current. So I'm going to do the same kind of thing here. Units of production, cost minus residual. And again, sorry, this book does it a little differently than I usually do. Okay, all of that divided by total and then times current. Yeah, I don't like it like that so much, but that's okay. So all of that divided by total units times current units. I like to do a fraction of current units divided by total units, and then you don't have to do the double bracket. Mathematically, it's all exactly the same thing. And I would like to be consistent with the AME textbook because those of you that are my students are going to be seeing that for your examples. Okay, let's try it. I'm doing apostrophe equals. I'm hitting the parentheses twice. Cost, 50. Residual, 10. Parentheses, parentheses. Divided by total units. Reading. 1 million. 1,000,000 times. I don't think I got my parentheses in the right place. This parentheses should be here. Okay, that over that. Yeah, and all this times current. Okay, year one current is 300,000. And let's run that calculation. So I'm taking out the apostrophe. So the apostrophe so you can see it, and then, without is I want to see what it actually is. 10,000. Let's do another year. So this was at 300,000 units. Let's do year two, 250,000 units. So that's going to change right here. 250,000 units. And right here. It's going down, right? 300,000, 250, so it should be going down. The third year is going to be the same as this one. Year 3, 300, so 300, so it's going back up to 12,000. Year 4, only 100,000 units. Interesting. Okay, so we got to change this to 100,000 and 100,000, and this should be way lower. So keep your common sense ticker going in your brain. We're going 300 to 250, so this should go down. 250 to 300, this should go up. It's the same thing, yes. 300 to 100, this should go way down. This should be 1/3 of that, and it is, yeah. And so then we finish off the table. So again, you can do those calculations again. I don't think I'm going to do those calculations again. Let's just do them this way. Boop, 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 boop. And accumulated equals balance before plus current year, and copy. Book value, cost minus accumulated, and copy. And we got to make sure we don't go past 10,000, and we didn't. So even though this is a 4-year asset, we've still got room for a 5th year, like that. So they estimated 4 years, but really there's some more usage. There are more units that can be produced from this equipment. And again, I would like to do the super quick unformatted line graph. And here it is. Oh, man. Look at the green line. So we see that trend. Here it dips down, it comes back, it goes down. Comparing the 3, straight line, declining balance, units of production. I like units of production because it reflects reality. It reflects the current production or the current mileage on a truck or whatever it is. So that is how to do depreciation using these three methods. So a little bit of background first on the formulas, and then the opportunity to do an application problem together. With declining balance, remember to watch out, make sure you don't go past, this is true for any method, make sure you do not depreciate past residual value. Alright, good work today. Talk to you again.